What's up? It's me, Devin, and I am here. I wanted to do a little video about making a vase of flowers. So my parents are coming this weekend and to help me finish moving in, and I wanted to get some flowers. So I went over to Whole Foods, got some food for them, got some nice flowers, and I got some mums, some nice little white mums, and I got some beautiful coral gladiolus. Gladiolus is one of my favorite cut flowers. And I just wanted to make a quick little vase, show you guys what I like to do when I'm making my vases of flowers. I always have, right now I'm looking at a hydrangea over there. I have some, what do I have over there? Some eryngium and some baby's breath. And this nice little glass vase was filled with agapanthus until 5 minutes ago when I threw it away because it had had its fun in the sun. Okay. So unwrapping my gladiolus. Now the first thing that we always do when we're making our vases of flowers is we want to strip away all of the bottom foliage. Any foliage that might be in that water, peel it off, strip it away, because the first thing that's going to happen if you have foliage in that water is it's going to start to smell bad. It's going to start to smell bad as it kind of just like decomposes in that water, and that's going to also just shorten the lifespan of your vase. Okay, so now I have all the foliage stripped. So the next thing that I will do is kind of determine the height that I want my flowers to be in the vase. And then that's going to give me a good idea of how deep to cut it. So this is probably going to be a little bit, this is actually pretty good, maybe a little bit tall. If I just hold them all up, they're all pretty much, some are taller than others, but that's all right, that's perfect. I want them to all have kind of a staggered height that's going to give a lot more general interest. And obviously, it's pretty clear that the gladiolus is going to be the star of this vase, and the mums with this bright white color is just going to help them pop. Now, if you guys remember from my previous videos, when I like to make vases of flowers, bouquets of flowers, for one, I never buy those pre-made store-bought mixes because I don't think they're pretty short, but I think you can make prettier combinations, and it's cheaper to buy individual bouquets and make your own. And I normally try to stick to 2 or 3 colors. Oftentimes it's like 2 flowers and maybe like 1 foliage filler. But in this case, I'm just going to use these 2 flowers and leave some of this mum foliage on here, and then that's going to be, you know, the 3rd color, so to speak. Okay, so back to the gladiolus. So one thing that we can do for a gladiolus to make these flowers open up a little bit faster and to also just kind of elongate the life is actually take your shears and make sure you're using freshly washed shears. I was outside pruning some hydrangea earlier that had some bugs, so I just washed these with soap and now they're clean. So what I'm going to do with my shears is I'm actually going to cut off the very top one, the very top bud, and that's actually going to help scent. Or you could even, you know, this like whole like little thing, I'm going to just cut this off right here, and what that's actually going to do is it's going to send more energy into opening up the flower buds that are already present. Because these flowers have already been cut, the buds that you're seeing the color, they'll continue to open, but the ones at the very top, like up here, you can't see any color. They're pretty, absolutely, and if I were to leave them, that would be beautiful, but they're never going to open. They're never going to develop into flowers, so I'm going to actually just cut off all of those top bits because I don't need all of it. And I love doing a lot of my work inside the home on a tarp. I have this heavy-duty tarp. These babies are worth their weight in gold, and they're like 10 bucks, and I use it all the time. Okay, so this is like probably going to be a pretty good height. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit, but I was looking at my pack of mums, and you know, sometimes you'll find those packets mixed in with your flowers, and maybe you never knew what they were. So flowers, that you can actually elongate their lives by giving them a little bit of feeding, a little bit of nutrition. And that's what's basically in here. It's essentially, in layman's terms, it's just like sugar. So it kind of just gives them a little bit more energy and just feeds them a little bit. So before I put the gladiolas in and before I cut them, I'm gonna just open this up. And sprinkle it in. Now, the first time you change your water, obviously this is gonna go away, but that's okay. It will have done a good enough job. Now I'm just gonna give it a little stir. Perfect. Okay, now it's very important, if you want to really get the most out of your cut flowers, cut them and immediately put them into water. Whenever you put flowers into a vase, you need to cut them first, but then get them into water immediately, because what happens if you don't is little air pockets, air bubbles will form in those cut areas. And what happens is that inhibits the stems from absorbing the water. And if that's happening, you can imagine it's not getting hydrated like it needs to. And if it's not getting hydrated like it's need to, like if you're out running and you're really thirsty and there's no water around, you're gonna flail. You're gonna get tired a lot faster than you would if you had that proper hydration. Likewise, these would just kind of get ugly a lot faster without that proper hydration. So I'm gonna take my shears, clean, sharp shears. I'm just gonna do like an inch, and I'm just gonna cut them all. No, that's not an inch, that's like 2 inches. Okay, let's see. How does that look? All right, I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's step one. Now to the mums. All right, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of this foliage. It kind of looks like arugula to me. I'm not suggesting to eat it, but I am suggesting maybe trim some of it off. Okay, now that these are all clean, okay, the way that I'm going to put these into here is I'm actually probably going to cut them one by one and just like place them. So just kind of, it's all, when it comes to gardening, when it comes to everything with plants, it's all about feel, it's all about guess and check. Just like we learned in 3rd grade. If it looks good, great. If it doesn't look good, that's okay. Can do it again. So what I'm basically doing is I'm kind of eyeing in the mix where I want this white to be located, and then I'll cut accordingly. And so it's always cut less than it's always better to cut less and then cut again if it's not right. Oops, broke a flower. It's okay. All right, what do you think? I think it looks pretty good. Coral is my mother's favorite color. That's why I picked those coral colored gladiolas. I think she'll be pretty satisfied. And you can see the water level, I have it just about half. Very, very, very rarely do you want to fill it up more than halfway. Halfway is probably a pretty good rule of thumb. A lot of times less water is probably better. Only a few flowers like oriental lilies really like to have like water up their stems all the way. So I think this will look good. My mom's showing up on Sunday. Today's Friday. So a couple more days and more of these buds will be opening up, and hope she's happy. Anyways, I'm Devin Wallin. I hope you enjoy my plant vibrations. And if you do, make sure to find me on Instagram, plant.vibrations, or here on YouTube, Plant Vibrations with me, Devin Wallin. I'll catch you later.